A year ago, I made an absurd declaration. I was gonna finish all 5 of my unfinished creative projects in 2021, and I was gonna document the whole thing on this YouTube channel as a kind of creative journal. I knew that completing this challenge was gonna be almost impossible, but I just wanted to overload my creative to-do list with everything that I've ever wanted to achieve creatively, so that I could bounce back and forth between projects and always have something to work on and never have an excuse not to be working. I tend to get a little bored, a little restless. I tend to feel a little trapped in my creative work. So I thought dusting off all of my creative projects and just surrounding myself with stuff to do would be an interesting experiment just to see what would happen. So for the first 6 months this year, I did bounce back and forth between all 5 projects, and I made a reasonable amount of progress on all of them. But I felt a little unfocused and I felt a little stretched thin. Eventually, I kind of focused more and more on a single project, and I found myself working on the board game even when I was supposed to be working on other projects. So I kind of just leaned into that and decided to fully commit to finishing the board game first. So for the last 6 months, all of my updates on the YouTube channel have been focused specifically on the board game, which has evolved into a small footprint, medium complexity, solitaire dungeon crawl game. I've poured 100% of my heart and soul into this one project, and I'm starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel with it. But now 2021 has ended. So what does this mean for the Make Stuff 2021 challenge? I mean, I was supposed to complete 5 projects in 2021, and I didn't even complete one. So does that mean this whole thing has just been an epic failure? I mean, maybe. But why did I start this challenge? I mean, looking back to my incantation video that I shot a year ago, I really just wanted to get into the state of making, having an idea for a thing, visualizing it, obsessing over it, and then making the thing. I wanted to make tiny artifacts. I wanted to share those artifacts with the world. I wanted to learn to just exist in the creative state of doing. This is where I felt most comfortable, and it's where I wanted to be. So that's what I thought a year ago, and I still think that today. So in that respect, I think the Make Stuff 2021 challenge has been a success. I've managed to find and sustain creative focus. I've finally taught myself to sit and work on a thing even when it feels a little boring or tedious or pointless. And because of that, I've made huge creative breakthroughs. And I feel a sense of accountability now, both to myself and to everyone who's shown an interest in what I do. So how important was the YouTube channel in 2021? In hindsight, I think it was critical. I don't think I would have stuck with any of my projects for a whole year if not for the channel. And that's kind of embarrassing to admit. But there's something about documenting my goals and my progress that keeps me going. There's something about saying it all out loud, articulating it, putting it all out there into the world that makes it real. And possibly the most pleasant surprise of all is that I'm not just transmitting, I'm receiving. The feedback that I've gotten from you has been priceless. I've made many changes to my game design based directly on your feedback. And my board game is way, way better as a result. I can't emphasize just how important this has been to me, and I'm humbled by it. 2021 has been challenging for everyone. A pandemic that just won't end, civil unrest. But I try not to dwell on these things or bring them into the fold here because I really just want to focus. I want to broadcast creative energy. I want to focus on creativity and on constructive thought because that's really all I have to offer. My Dungeon Crawl board game, it's just a tiny artifact and it's not going to save the world. But games bring joy to gamers. So maybe the stuff I make will bring some tiny sliver of joy to some tiny little corner of the gaming world for a second. Like, who can say? I know that it brings me a lot of joy to make the stuff. So what now? I'm gonna keep chipping away at the challenge. I'm gonna finish the board game and I'm gonna bring it to market by my birthday in late April. I mean, that was the catalyst for this whole thing to begin with. I wanted to make a special thing by my 50th and share it with the world. So I got about 4 months left to make that happen. So I guess I just want to close by saying thank you to everyone who has stopped by this channel to say hi. I really appreciate your company and your feedback. And I wish each and every one of you a happy and healthy new year. So let's make some stuff.